Hi everyone, my name is Jason Lanier. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I am a photographer from California, flies all over the world, and on one of those adventures 5 years ago I had the amazing opportunity to meet Vanden King, who became my best friend. Vanden died 4 days ago, and it's been a very turbulent time for me and obviously for his family and his wife and 3 kids. And as hard as it is, we want to try and find some happiness in all of this pain. Tomorrow I fly out to go to Vanden's funeral, and at the request of his brother Paige, who I've been in constant communication with, the family has requested for us to share some of our memories of Vanden and post them. I think it's a wonderful idea. Sometimes when we're grieving, all we feel is the pain, and it's very hard to remember the joy. So what we're asking all of the family members and friends, acquaintances, even if you only knew Vanden through my videos or through some of the posts that you've seen, we're asking everyone just to film a simple video. You can be just picking up your phone, putting it in front of you, and doing a 10, 15, 20 second, 1 minute, 5 minutes, however long you need, and share your memories of Vanden and post it to Vanden King's Facebook wall. It would make the world of difference to his family. There's so many stories that we just don't know. There's so many stories the world doesn't know of what Vanden and I have done, or what many of you out there have done with Vanden, or your thoughts, or what drew you to him. And what we're asking you to do is share those feelings, share those memories, so they can live on. We don't want them to die. We want those memories to last forever. And if you record a video, and it doesn't have to be a professional quality video, just record a simple video and post it to his wall, saying these are my memories with Vanden. I know that it would mean the world of difference to his wife, Carla, his daughter, Serena, his son, Minivan, and his other daughter, Cheyenne. They are grieving, and if they can relive some of their fathers' and husbands' memories through your videos, I know it will bring some joy to their lives during a very hard time. And that's what we're asking you to do. So I'll start. I'll share some of my favorite moments with Vanden. There are so many. I met Vanden 5 years ago. It was the second workshop I had ever done in my career. And I put a Facebook post out and said, I'm coming to West Virginia, and I have this opportunity to shoot at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia, which is about an hour away from Morgantown. And I said, is there anybody that wants to come and assist and just roll video or do anything? At the time, I didn't have a crew, I didn't have anything. Vanden volunteered and came down. And I remember Vanden meeting him. And he was this big human being. I mean, physically imposing, 350 pounds. He'd be mad at me for that. He'd probably tell you 320, but it's about 350. And he was huge and strong as an ox. And he showed up, and I asked him if he believed in the paranormal stuff, and he thought it was a bunch of hooey. And he says, but I will tell you one thing. If we do find something, if we do hear something, if we do see something, you will see a 350-pound fireman curled up in a corner in the fetal position trying to rock himself to sleep because I will be crying. When Vanden told me that, when this huge, physically imposing man said that to me, I said, this guy gets it. This guy, he and I just jive. He and I just work together. From that point, I was listening to the Blake Shelton song 5-6 years ago, and he became Honeysuckle, I became Honeybee. It's because I'd always told him, we always argued who was who, and I told him he had to be Honeysuckle because he sucked. And that's the kind of relationship we had. Driving in, just this 2 months ago at WPPI, the photography convention in Las Vegas, Vanden, Jason, my crew, there's a member of my crew who is a Justin Bieber fan, but the two of us are not. And Jason, my videographer, and I are not Justin Bieber fans at all. We do not have Bieber fever. Well, Justin Bieber song came on, and it was "You Can Go and Love Yourself" or whatever it's called. And my assistant Kristen begged me to keep the song on, because every time Bieber would come on, we'd immediately hit it off. And Vanden, as he would, whenever Vanden was with us, because Vanden wasn't with me full time, but when he could be with me, he was. And Vanden sat in the passenger seat. I was driving, and Vanden turned to me sheepishly and gave me a little smile and said, "The song's not so bad." I let out a laugh pretty much like that. And I said, "Are you serious right now, Vanden? You're going Bieber on me." He says, it's got a good message. And so I said, "Well, just for you, I'm going to leave it on, Vanden, just because I love you." And he proceeded to sing the song full tilt, all the way. He did change one of the key lyrics, the love word. He changed that to something else, but that was Vanden. To be with Vanden was to just be around pure fun. The guy truly was all heart and no fear. I remember jumping in his truck, in his testosterone mobile truck, over big jumps in his backwoods. I remember he hated me calling him a hillbilly, and he would call me Hollywood. I remember driving with the lights off in the backwoods of his farm during the night, and he terrified the girls. I remember us scaring the girls when we were at the Moundsville State Penitentiary, hiding behind corners and scaring them to death. To be around Vanden for me was to be in high school forever. It's like that high school friend you have that you never forget. And for many of us, myself included, after you get out of high school, you don't ever forget those friends. And after you get out of high school, it's very uncommon, I think for most of us, to make those kinds of friendships again. I remember going into the Caribbean Sea with Vanden to go out onto a shipwreck and do a shoot. I remember Vanden was the only one who could keep his head above water because he was taller than the rest of us. I remember Vanden getting coral in his foot and needing surgery. I remember my assistant and I tried to perform surgery on his foot by sterilizing a safety pin. That didn't work too well. Vanden screamed. He drank a lot. We laughed a lot. And I had ended up taking Vanden to the emergency room in Aruba, where he spent $350, and all they did was put a wet sock on his foot. And if you know Vanden, he didn't like that very much. Lots of four-letter words. I remember going to restaurants with Vanden. I remember him always ordering the hottest thing that you could possibly eat. I remember telling him, "Vanden, I don't understand this. You eat these hot wings." He would do the atomic challenge almost everywhere we went. And I would say to him, "Vanden, I don't understand this, because you eat it and your sweat is so much. It's so profuse. You can't even see. You have so much." And Vanden always had a really short haircut, and he wouldn't wear a hat like me. Occasionally he'd try a fedora on or a baseball cap, but most of the time it was just a crew cut, and he would have just tears and sweat just consuming his face. And he would eat those freaking hot wings, and I never understood it. But he loved it. He loved it. And that's why I say it was like being in high school with Vanden. It's that moment where you feel like the cares of the world don't matter. I remember going to the Waldo Hotel with Vanden down in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and people said that he and I had a bromance for the ages, and I believe that. They even said that Vanden and I were a couple. And we got a kick out of that. I always told him that I was the man in the relationship. He didn't like that. But when I needed a man, Vanden was the man. Wherever I went, if I needed something to be held or carried, he did it. Whenever I needed something moved, he moved it. And he moved it with such force that I was at times scared of Vanden. Not scared for my own safety, but watching somebody that big move things so easily was a sight to behold. I remember there was this one time in the Waldo Hotel. We're doing a shoot, and there was this door that could not be broken. Now, we had permission from the property owners to be there, and we had permission to shoot there, and we had permission to open any door that we needed to. Well, the renovation construction crews had already gone through and removed off any of the doors that they could, and there was one door in this entire hotel, this entire abandoned hotel, there was one door that nobody could get into. Nobody. Now, I threw my weight against the door, moved a little bit. Our videographer, Jason, threw his weight against the door, and it threw Jason back against the wall. Vanden took one look at me and he says, I'm gonna donkey kick this door. And I said, donkey kick? What is that, some hillbilly thing? That's the way he and I spoke to each other. And he said, no, stupid, I'm gonna donkey kick the door and knock this bleepity bleep off so you can get in there and you can do the job. Is that not what you want to do? And I said, yes, that is what I want to do. Thank you very much, brother. Vanden proceeded to turn around. I guess it's a fireman move. Turn around, lift his leg up, and just kick the freak out of that door. And this door that renovation crews and everybody else couldn't move, Vanden moved. Being around Vanden was moving. Being around Vanden and being able to share those moments, I truly don't believe I'll ever have those again. And I'm sad for that. If you're watching this video, I've cried enough tears to fill an ocean. And I'm right now just finding my happy moment to be able to share these memories with you. I remember the first time I went to Vanden's farm. He was excited that I was visiting because Vanden and I met. He looked up to me as a photographer, and he was trying to learn from me, and he did. He became an amazing photographer. And so when I went to his house, he was excited. And there was a picture of Carla and Vanden, his wife, dressed in matching overalls. Oshkosh bagosh. Well, I saw this picture and immediately took my phone and took a snapshot of it. Because I knew once Vanden saw me doing it, he would immediately rip it off the wall. Well, that's exactly what happened. Vanden saw me. He let out another whatever bomb. Ran over and said, damn it, Carl, I told you to take this off the wall. I knew Jason would make a big deal out of it if he saw it. Vanden swore that if I ever posted, I told him I was in the middle of posting it to Facebook. And he said if I ever did, he would not be my friend anymore. Well, I respected his wish and did not post it. But I'm telling you what, he was a once-in-a-lifer. I remember when visiting his house, I would have the great opportunity to get to know his children and his wife. And I remember Cheyenne, little Cheyenne, his littlest, coming in and painting my toenails. They would do mud wraps and put stickers on our faces. Now, I've never had daughters. I have sons. I've always wanted daughters, and Vanden's daughters are very special to me, as is his son, Minivan. And I would allow them to do whatever they wanted, because I never got to experience that as a dad, because little boys don't do that to their dads. So they would paint our toenails and paint our fingernails and put stickers on our faces and do all sorts of craziness. And I remember that it meant so much to me that I did not use any nail polish remover or anything. I kept that toenail polish on my toes until it wore off, which took months. But that was a very special memory. I remember Minivan singing Let It Go. I remember he would torture his sisters. They would torture each other, as all good brothers and sisters do. And I saw Minivan torturing his sister, and I said, I'm going to hold you, and you have to sing Let It Go before I'll let you go. And he did. Then he gave me the stink eye that he learned well from his dad. And then he went back to torturing his sisters. I remember Serena writing the kindest things about me, doing book reports about me. And I remember Serena being so gracious and always allowing me to sleep. She would go off to her grandparents, which live right up the road. And she would always allow me to take her bedroom when I would visit. I remember Vanden loving his children dearly, with all of his heart. I remember him talking consistently about his kids. So Vanden, Serena, and Cheyenne, I know you know, but your dad adored you, and you were the world to him. I remember him being so in love with his wife. I remember him always talking about Carla. I remember Vanden, I got to know Carla so well because Carla would come to many of the workshops and many of the shoots that we did. And it was important to Vanden that she was able to come. I remember Vanden, whenever he had an opportunity, would walk up behind Carla and smack her right on the butt every time. He loved it. He loved her. He would always tell me the wedding story of how they got married at the Justice of the Peace, and for their honeymoon, they, I think, installed a toilet in their bathroom. I remember tales and trips from Ethiopia and Scotland and all the places we went together. So many memories. So many that I'll have to share many of them in a different video. I plan on doing a highlight video of all of our travels as a keepsake for Carla and the kids. But Vanden, I love you. The world loves you. And you will never be replaced. And I will do everything in my power to help your family. If you haven't already, please consider making a donation to Vanden's GoFundMe page, which is going directly to Carla and his 3 kids. If you haven't already, please make a donation, and I'll put the link below. I love you all, and I thank you for taking the time to share your memories of Vanden so the world can know just what a truly amazing man he was. I'll talk to you later.